Italy is at a breaking point. A once Christian nation now faces a tidal wave of Islamization. Churches defaced, crime surging, entire neighborhoods transformed beyond recognition. This is not just migration. This is an invasion of culture, values, and identity. How did we get here? And more importantly, can Italy stop it? Let's begin with cold, hard facts. Over the past few years, Italy has faced a surge of illegal Muslim immigrants, with thousands arriving via the Mediterranean. What was once a humanitarian crisis is now turning into a national emergency. And it's not just about numbers, it's about consequences. Take Lampedusa, Italy's southernmost island, which has seen boat after boat of illegal arrivals. The town of 6,000 people was flooded with over 10,000 migrants in just 1 week. Local law enforcement was overwhelmed, residents terrified, and the government left scrambling. Violence erupted between migrant groups, riots broke out, and law and order collapsed. In a shocking incident, a Muslim immigrant wrote Allah inside a church in Italy, then vandalized locals' cars with the same writing. And then Milan was rocked by a series of violent incidents: rapes of Italian women, fires, devastation, and attacks on police with stones. In Trieste, the situation is equally grim. Over the past few months, 15,000 illegal Muslim immigrants from Pakistan and Afghanistan have invaded the city via the Balkan route. Not coincidentally, Trieste now holds the highest number of reported sexual violence cases in Italy. Locals know exactly why. Italy's Muslim population is now at an all-time high. In 2025, estimates suggest that over 6% of Italy's total population is Muslim. That's nearly 4 million people, many of whom arrived illegally. Compare this to just 2 decades ago, when this number was barely a fraction of what it is today. But here's the real question. When does migration become more than just numbers? When do we stop calling it immigration and start calling it transformation? From unauthorized mosques to religious enforcement zones, reports from cities like Bologna and Palermo suggest that some neighborhoods are becoming unrecognizable. Lampedusa alone has seen an unprecedented 200,000 illegal Muslim immigrants settle in just 1 year. Every day, at least 30 boats land in Italy, carrying men from Libya, Tunisia, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Men who will soon be placed in hotels with government aid, while 8 million Italians live in absolute poverty without work. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni came to power with a promise: stop illegal migration. Italy signed multiple agreements with Tunisia, Libya, and Albania to curb the influx. The Albanian processing centers were supposed to filter out illegals before they even touched Italian soil. But did it work? The latest figures tell a different story. In 2023, Italy received over 160,000 illegal migrants. In 2024, that number was cut by only 15%. In 2025, despite the toughest crackdowns yet, tens of thousands still slip through. Even with increased deportations, the issue is far from solved. And let's talk about European policies, because Italy is not alone in this fight. France, Germany, and Sweden are all struggling with similar issues. But unlike these countries, Italy sits right at the doorstep of the Mediterranean. The burden is heavier, the stakes higher. Meanwhile, the crime rates in immigrant-dominated areas are soaring. Milan, once the pride of Italy, has turned into a battleground. Muslim immigrants have set fires, attacked police with stones, and vandalized businesses. These are not isolated incidents. These are patterns. So where does Italy go from here? Are we witnessing the slow Islamization of an entire nation? Will the Italian identity, rooted in centuries of history, be replaced by a new cultural order? And most importantly, if this trend continues, will there even be an Italy as we know it in the next 20 years? Will the streets of Rome, Venice, and Florence still echo with the sounds of Italian culture, or will they be unrecognizable? Will the government act decisively before it's too late, or will history remember this as the moment Italy lost its identity forever?